Eli Manning's consecutive start streak for the New York Giants will start anew Sunday. It will make for an interesting scene at the Meadowlands. It's rare for the Giants, a tradition-laden franchise known for its stability, to be in a state of upheaval. But that was the case this week, as co-owners John Mara and Steve Tisch fired coach Ben McAdoo and general manager Jerry Reese. The house cleaning came with 4 games left in a miserable season in which the Giants have stumbled to 210, and the week after McAdoo sat down Manning to end his streak of consecutive regular season starts at 210. Steve Spagnuolo, elevated from defensive coordinator to interim head coach, wasted little time reinstating Manning as the starter for this weekend's game against the Dallas Cowboys. It doesn't exactly right the wrong inflicted upon Manning by McAdoo's clumsy handling of the attempt to get late-season looks at Geno Smith and rookie Davis Webb. But it at least restores the rightful status quo and calms what had been a volatile situation. "It's important to play," Manning said during his weekly meeting with reporters. "That's what I love to do. I love to play quarterback. I love playing quarterback for the New York Giants. That's what I work on. Last week something different was asked of me. I tried to do to the best of my abilities helping Geno and being the backup. But if I knew, I'd want the opportunity to be the starting quarterback again." The Giants, who lost at Oakland last Sunday with Smith at quarterback, avoided what could have been an ugly scene in their first game at MetLife Stadium since the benching. Fans were outraged. Former Giants players were in virtual revolt. A group of Manning's former teammates reportedly had been planning to show up at the game outfitted in Manning jerseys. Now, the game is likely to be a celebration of what the two-time Super Bowl winner has meant to the franchise, rather than another dreary afternoon in a gloomy season. "I feel for Coach McAdoo," Manning said. "He's been a great coach to me, a great friend. We had a great relationship. I hope we continue to have one. I was able to have a good talk with him Sunday before the game and then got to see him Monday before he left as well. I have great respect for Coach McAdoo. I don't think this is his fault. But obviously this is where the team is. The Giants had to make a decision. That's what happens when you're 210. Spagnuolo's decision to go back to Manning seemed automatic once McAdoo was ousted. Just in case it wasn't, Manning made certain to let Spagnuolo know that he wanted the job. "I just wanted him to know that I do want to play," Manning said. "I want to be the starting quarterback. I want to be out there. I just wanted to make sure he knew that." He said that he was going to think about it and talk with the coaches, but his gut said that I would be the starting quarterback. "So I'm happy that he went with that decision and he has the faith in me that we can go win this football game with me as the quarterback." Manning called the support he received from fans after his benching overwhelming. He said he does not have retirement on his mind. And even with the Giants likely to use the lofty draft choice that's coming their way on a quarterback, Manning said he is not necessarily eager to be on his way out of the organization at season's end. "This is all I know, is playing for the New York Giants," he said. "I've never wished to change that. I appreciate everything the Giants organization has done for me. You've got so much family in this building, from the Mara family and the Tisch family, people in the equipment room and the film room and the training room. I've known a lot of these people for 14 years and growing up around them. And so this is all I know. I'm gonna finish out this season and then I'm sure there will be a discussion with the organization to figure out what's the plan going forward." Around the league, Browns and Rooney Rule. The Cleveland Browns are saying they complied with the Rooney Rule in their office GM search. They are not saying, however, which minority candidate or candidates they interviewed to comply with the rule. The Browns announced the hiring of John Dorsey as their general manager Thursday night after firing front office executive Sashi Brown earlier in the day. It will be interesting to see if the league and the Fritz Pollard Alliance, the diversity group that works closely with the NFL on its hiring practices, ultimately agree that the Browns complied. Gettleman and Giants. The early speculation is that Dave Gettleman, the former general manager of the Carolina Panthers, could be the favorite in the Giants' GM search. That makes sense. Gettleman is available after being ousted by the Panthers before the season. He oversaw a Super Bowl team in Carolina, and he has history with the Giants. His one-time boss with the Giants, former GM Ernie Accorsi, is serving as a consultant in the team's current search. But the Giants should be careful, despite the familiarity factor. It was Marty Herney, not Gettleman, who assembled much of the Panthers' key Super Bowl talent. And Gettleman's still puzzling decision to remove the franchise player tag from cornerback Josh Norman and allow him to leave for Washington was a factor in the Panthers falling out of the playoffs last season. Is Jones vs. Goodell really done? The 5-year contract extension between NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell and the Owners' Compensation Committee is not only completed, it's also signed. That removes much of the drama from next week's owners' meeting in Dallas, which once was shaping up to be a showdown between the Cowboys' Jerry Jones and fellow owners over Goodell's extension. Jones has rescinded his threat to sue. He undoubtedly still will have some things to say, behind closed doors and otherwise. But there probably is nothing that Jones can do at this point to prevent Goodell from remaining in office. Targeting rule. The NFL's pronouncement this week that the rule-making competition committee will give off-season consideration to a college-style targeting rule, by which a player could be ejected from a game for an illegal hit, subject to confirmation by an instant replay review, is compelling. There is a decent chance the consideration goes nowhere. The committee already made a move in that direction by issuing its directive before this season that the most egregious illegal hits should result in the offending player being ejected by officials or suspended by the league, even for a first offense. But adding replay to the equation could be problematic. The competition committee consistently has taken the position over the years that judgment calls by the officials should not be subject to replay scrutiny. It therefore would require an abrupt shift in replay philosophy for the NFL to adopt the college version of the rule. Extra points. It's fine that Aaron Rodgers is back and practicing with the Green Bay Packers. It's great that he is said to be looking good. But by the time he's eligible to play December 17th, there might not be any good reason for the Packers to allow him to. There are 2 games out of a wild card spot with 4 games left. The Packers' realistic playoff chances could be all but extinguished, and the risk of a re-injury by Rodgers would outweigh their minuscule postseason hopes. Remember when Tony Romo came back and re-broke his collarbone? So Geno Smith, who once lost his starting job with the Jets because of a broken jaw suffered via a teammate's punch, now loses a starting job due to the backlash over a New York icon being clumsily benched. It's been an interesting career, to say the least. Games to watch. Vikings at Panthers. The Vikings have taken over as the NFC's Super Bowl favorite, with the Eagles looking suddenly vulnerable. Eagles at Rams. The Eagles look to bounce back, but it won't be easy on the road against a very good Rams team. Seahawks at Jaguars. The Seahawks try to build on the impressive win over the Eagles. Cowboys at Giants. It's all about Eli Manning being back in the Giants lineup, yes. But the Cowboys are playing to keep their very faint playoff hopes alive until Ezekiel Elliott's return. Ravens at Steelers. The Steelers play a second straight game against a fierce rival, following the triumph over the Bengals with the Sunday night meeting with the Ravens. Games to miss. Raiders at Chiefs. This is as uninspiring as it gets for a December game between 2 teams tied for first place. Bears at Bengals. Do the Bengals have anything left emotionally after the dispiriting loss to the Steelers? Packers at Browns. Cleveland's pursuit of perfection, 0-1-6 style, continues. Jets at Broncos. Maybe the Broncos can ask for volunteers from the stands to come down and play quarterback.